Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net. Check out Unregimented Mondays and Fridays on iTunes and ChristopherMedia.net. Christopher Media, let's make some noise. Christopher Media, let's make some noise. From Asthma Core Studios near Detroit, Michigan, it's Unregimented.
Gangsters, what's up, guys?
Number 131. Chris.
I'm Aaron.
I'm Jay.
I'm Rich.
Alrighty. So what is going on, gentlemen?
I got a fucking head cold.
Yeah, a little bit. A little stuffy there.
Yeah, it's annoying. I can't wait to get on a plane with a head cold. It's going to be great.
Oh, it sucks.
That's the fucking worst.
That's going to be fucking awesome.
Yeah, I've had to do that once.
Yeah.
I had a headache. It felt like my head was being cleaved in half.
Yeah.
For like a whole day afterwards, too.
Right.
I think that
If
was
you want
the
my
same...
advice, Jay, take a whole bunch of Tylenol or some shit before you fly.
Yeah, I think that
Because
was
it's going to
the
feel
time
like
that
someone's
my,
just hitting you in the head with a hammer.
Same time my luggage went to another city. And I was traveling for work. So yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, so if you hear me sniffle, you hear my sinus. Sorry about that. It's gross, I know. Fuck you, can't help it.
You're just
Deal with it.
You're just making me scared because I feel like I'm coming down with something.
No, don't you start.
I've
Everybody
been
get a
doing
jacket.
a lot today.
Get your jacket.
Yeah, but
out.
guys, too, I mean, it's the seasons are changing. Isn't that just how Michigan, isn't it? Is it called Michigan nose or Michigan head?
Yeah, whatever.
Is it?
I get it every year. Whatever.
I have allergies all year round, so it really isn't that different for me.
I'll be over it in a week. And
It's
good
the
to go.
asthma. That's what every time the seasons change, every 3 months, the asthma acts up.
Awesome.
Hey, let me ask you a question. So you pretty much are off the tobacco cigarettes. You pretty much only vape. Has that ever fucked with your asthma?
The vape?
Yeah.
I guess it's a rather difficult thing to judge, considering that. You know what it's like when you stop smoking cigarettes. You have the congestion, right? And that's a big part of the physical symptoms are a big part of why people go back to cigarettes, because immediately your body wants to get rid of all this shit, and it finally can now that all its little hairs are active again and not being poisoned.
I get the fucking flu every time I quit smoking.
Right. Yeah. That's
time.
what all that shit that's building up. Your body can't eject it because it's the smoke actually paralyzes the cilia in your esophagus, your esophageal tract, or whatever the fuck it is. And so anyway, why was I talking about that? Because I didn't have that same experience going from cigarettes to vape for some reason. Now, I haven't actually tried to wean myself off of vaping, so I don't know if I would have the same reaction. I doubt it. And I certainly don't cough. And I certainly haven't coughed any shit up. And I certainly don't feel like I get sick more often. As a matter of fact, I don't really believe a time that... I don't think I was seriously sick since I stopped smoking.
Yeah, I really gotta stop again. As much as I don't want to, but for my just for this kind of shit, because this will go into bronchitis because I'm a smoker, you know.
Yes.
I'm just asking because I've noticed. I don't think I've never had asthma, but and according to the doctors, my lungs are clear. But I upgraded a while ago from a pen to a box, and I went to a Nautilus tank, and it has
I got the mini Nautilus.
Yeah, that's what I had with the BVC coils.
What does that mean?
The vertical coils, ones that look like a little tube.
Dual wick.
Yes, I guess.
They dual wick with vertical tubes or vertical.
Well, anyways, I'm to fire them. Like I'm up near 11.5 watts, something like that. They're like, hey, this is how many volts you're gonna need. You're safe between 4.2 and 5.0 volts, and hitting my vape is just like, whoa, that's a lot warmer than that E-Pen ever got ever. And I just was like, okay, is this going to fuck with me now?
Well, guys get competitive with it.
Oh, yeah, man.
And they probably vape all the time. And yeah, I mean, I run mine at 7 and it's fine. I get nice, decent hits. All I want is the same type of hit that I got off a cigarette. I don't need to take it a step further.
Right.
I need not only the nicotine delivery, but I do need the
inhalant,
the
smoke.
No, the experience.
Yeah,
There's a word.
the feel.
There's a more concise word for what I'm trying to say, but
the draw.
It's like the idea of like somebody who smokes pot and they always smoke joints, and then when they smoke off a bowl or a bong, they go, "Oh, it's not the same high to me." You don't have the ritual.
Right.
Part of it is the ritual. ritual, right? And you're replicating that ritual.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I understand you on that. The oral fixation or whatever people would fuck with you about, constantly putting something to your mouth.
I'm always doing that anyway. I mean, I'm vaping, I'm smoking, I'm fucking eating some snack. Or if not, I'm chewing on a pen. I cannot keep shit out of my mouth. I've regressed to a 2-year-old.
We are like not.
You put me in an empty room and I want to have my foot in there.
All right. So,
what's going on out in the world, though?
Fuck the world.
What? The Pope's in town, right? He met with that chick with the dry hair.
Yeah. What's her name? With the 5 husbands.
Do you believe I don't believe she met with him. I think that's all propaganda.
I don't know, man. Huffington Post talked about it today.
No, the Vatican talked about it. And actually, there was a quote that was released while he was in transit back to Vatican City, I guess, or maybe somewhere else. But as he was leaving the U.S., they even spoke about it. They had some official statement. I might even have it here.
Like that she officially sucks? Because
I'm wondering what that
didn't he come out?
No, he was saying that. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Chris. Go ahead.
I can't have in mind all cases that can exist about conscientious objection. But yes, I can say that the conscientious objection is a right that is a part of every human right. It is a right. So that was his statement on their meeting to the press. He was interviewed, I guess, by reporters on the plane after. I don't know. He
basically said she's got the right to be an idiot, which I guess he's right.
Yeah, and she's got the next wonderful American right is to not work and starve.
That is a fair point, but
her lawyer said that she said that she was very pleased to meet the Pope because it was so great to be around somebody who loved Jesus so much.
Right.
He's got the direct line to him if you believe everything that's in your little book.
She was in the presence of somebody who loved Jesus very much.
I guess
hold on, time out. What isn't she? She's not Catholic though, right?
No, her parents are.
She's not.
No,
I guess she got a couple. Her parents are Catholic.
Yeah, her parents are Catholic.
And she got a couple rosaries, one for her and one for her husband.
I'm just saying, I know a lot of quote unquote Christians who, man, they shit all over the idea of Catholicism and Christianity being said in the same breath.
Well, they gave
those idolaters and all this bullshit.
They gave the rosaries away to their parent or her parents because they are Christian.
Did they have a quote of what her dad said?
Sorry?
Do you have the quote of what her father said?
No.
It's he
what
said
her father
that
said.
her father said that if he lived to be 200 years old, it'd still be the greatest gift he's ever received in his life. Like over top of his own daughter.
Right.
Like, come on.
Well, his daughter sucks.
Yeah. So, that's pretty big. I mean, imagine being a lifelong Kiss fan and then your daughter gives you a signed picture of Gene Simmons.
I would love it.
How cool would that be? Could you just imagine? You'd be over the moon.
Are you comparing Gene Simmons to Jesus Christ?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're both running. They're both running cults.
It's true.
But then so is Marvel Comics, and I'm a part of that one, so I can't judge.
Saw an article that
and that's also neither can the Pope, according to this. Who am I to judge? He said when let's see, let me back this up. Since his election to the papacy in 2013, Francis, with his outspoken criticism of global warming and income inequality, as well as his perceived support of the gay community, who am I to judge, he said, has become a favorite of some liberals. So this was like a big slap in the face to the liberals who thought that, hey, this is the progressive Pope. He's supposed to be on the good side. This is the liberal Pope.
Well, if he tells you can fuck without having the sole purpose of procreation, that is pretty liberal. For a pope, I mean, isn't it? I mean, he's a radical pope compared to Nazi pope we had. I can't even remember his name.
He's pretty conservative.
John Paul wasn't John Paul I.
He's pretty liberal compared to Warren Jeffs.
Who's that?
He was in the news this week. Warren Jeffs is the guy who is running the section of the Fundamentalist Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the polygamist LDS. Remember, he went to jail. How long ago was this? He was convicted in 2011 of sexual assault because two of his wives were 12 and 15 years old.
That's fucked up.
But he's still running this cult.
Well, yeah.
His brother is the acting president.
Sure.
He's making all these declarations from prison, and the latest one to come down can't make I think a lot of people very happy because let's see if I can find the exact quote here. No, not that one yet. Seed Bear. He talks about seed bearers.
Oh boy.
Right? A seed bearer is an elect man of a worthy bloodline chosen by the priesthood to impregnate the FLDS woman. Under a new doctrine, FLDS men are no longer permitted to have children with their multiple wives. That privilege belongs to the seed bearer alone. It is the husband's responsibility to hold the hands of their wives while the seed bearer spreads his seed.
What?
Wow.
I saw a porno like that earlier today.
Yeah, they're talking about cuck porn.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Right. So this does, in sort of an ingenious way, though, weed out the people that were just in it for the multiple wives thing.
Wow.
How do I get the job as seed bearer?
Right. They
That's
were
my
LDS.
question.
They were FLDS because monogamy just wasn't working out for them. And now
Wow.
you got nothing.
Oh, religion.
12 years old. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, you had to be from a worthy bloodline. So, I mean...
So does that mean white?
Well, it seems to be just those who come from Warren Jeffs' bloodline.
Oh,
So basically,
okay.
actually, who knows? Maybe this didn't come. Like, maybe, what's his name? Christopher Jeffs or something? He just, like, shows up one day with, hey, I got this letter from my brother. He says, nobody's allowed to fuck any of the women but me. And you got to hold them still while I do so. So let's get to work.
How David Koresh show him.
That just sounds batshit. Or awesome if you're his brother.
It's a ritualistic procreation performed on a ritualistic bed/altar. Is the way that this author or this reporter Bauer, what's his name?
But what else do they
I don't
do
know his first
besides
name.
fuck? Like, I mean, there's got to be something like more appealing to people than to have to share your wife or be
Knitting
shared.
and running the loom and mashing the corn and
I mean, that's
churning
it.
the butter and milking the cow. There's a lot to keep them busy.
Yeah.
My question is, you got to hold the hand of the wife, right? Well, what's the other hand allowed to do? Just saying. It's just a
Pummel the
thought.
dude.
Is it in the doctrine? Hold the wife with one hand, jerk it with the other. Like,
No, you got to play with the seed bearer's testicles.
yeah.
I
Got to
don't-
keep them warm. Got to keep the seed the right temperature.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd be into that. I mean,
Of all the shit we've discussed, this is the line.
if
Yeah.
if
I
I really,
and Aaron's not crossing it.
I'm not even allowed to participate in any way. If I can't even touch myself, then
yeah, fuck that.
there's absolutely nothing in it
No,
for me.
fuck that.
I'd be out. I wouldn't even let it get to that point. Then you couldn't even get me in the room. You see ya.
You're like, what are you, nuts?
Hey, you just got 6 more wives. Have fun.
Go find your own seed bearer.
Oh, God.
Gotta
You know
be
there's some...
It's got to be record time for us getting into dark shit.
You know, there's some dude who's like Al Bundy out there who's like, I grew tired of fucking this chick a long time ago. Just have at her.
It's like, you go ahead.
You got cable? You got Sports Center? I'll go watch that. Here, don't worry about it.
Let me know when you're done. What kind of sandwich would you like? I'll take care of that. You want a beer?
Yeah. I'm going to go out and find Monica Lewinsky because I heard she does this thing called head. I'm doing air quotes right now because you know he ain't getting that shit.
There's only one blowjob allowed in that cult per year, and it's to the seed bearer.
That's that was the last straw.
Well, hey,
Not
wait
being
a
able to
minute.
Fuck your own wife.
Wait a minute. Could there be a loophole in this? Now, see, if the
so?
seed is not going in to make babies, can you get around that whole seed bearer? Could there be the seed bearer loophole? Hey, not getting her pregnant.
Is there? You're asking if there's a hole in the logic that this organized religion follows?
Is there a loophole? Well, yes,
I wonder
know
if
I'm
we
asking.
could find one. If only.
No, but I'm just saying, if the
Let's
seed,
start from the beginning.
if you're not coming in the vagina,
Right.
can you get the blowjob at least?
Little back door.
Yeah.
I know this has quickly turned into a gangbang scenario here.
Well,
I was
let's
just
see.
saying, like, if the seed bearer can only have sex with her, I mean, you're not getting pregnant for moral.
Someone call Braziers and sell this idea as a fucking
I think that's
setup.
a given. I mean, if even the Christians are against masturbation, the FLDS can't be too keen on touching yourself or spilling your seed for any reason. I mean, they are the extremists. So I would say it's either it's probably one of two things. Here's my wild ass guess on it. You're not allowed to jerk off at all, or you have to jerk off whenever possible, whenever your balls feel full, because you have to get rid of that unworthy seed. You have to constantly keep
Get
your
rid
balls
of the curdled
drained.
nut.
Yeah,
It comes out lumpy.
he's got to make
It's like cottage cheese.
He's got to keep them running dry. You know, the head Warren Jeffs wants to keep all the males from being able to impregnate any of his women.
Dude nuts and a
kids.
puff of dust come out.
Any of his kids.
There you go, bitch. You just got to.
And what's the schedule like for the seed bear? Is it like, are you on a 7-day schedule? Do you get a breather?
How many women are there? I'd imagine it's at your whimsy.
Have you seen most of these women that are in these cults? It's not like it's going to be you're not hitting top shelf ass. I mean, you're hitting a lot of like permed hair, basically the chick, Kim Davis.
Yeah,
that's basically what you're
hitting a lot of Kim Davises.
So, I'm just saying that's what they look like. I mean, some homely bitches. So
yeah, unless you're on HBO, I mean, those chicks are pretty hot.
What's Chloe
Sevigny?
Say her name.
Chloe Sevigny.
I wouldn't mind. She looks like she'd throw you down and fuck you.
What was her name? Jane?
That's the thing.
No, not Jane Harmon.
Sometimes, man.
And the chick from Once Upon a Time. He had a hot little harem going for him.
Well,
but
I mean,
that show
TV.
is genius, though, because, I mean, you totally bought it.
That Bill Pullman could, no pun intended, pull that ass.
Yeah. They made it work, man. Oh, Bill, he was awesome.
I just want to know when he just blasts her in the face like a Jackson Pollock photo, is he like, game over, man? And then just fucking gets up and walks off.
Now, was it Pullman or Paxton? I thought it was Paxton.
Oh, it's Paxton. You're right.
Pullman. Yeah, you said Pullman.
Pullman was the president in ID4. That's right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he looks like Bill Paxton, only a little melty.
He's like Skeet Ulrich. He's like Skeet Ulrich is to Johnny Depp. He's
Skeet Ulrich, the poor man's Johnny Depp.
Yes. Or Johnny Depp, the rich man Skeet Ulrich, yeah.
Well, what about all this Matt Damon shit? I didn't even hear about this until
Rich,
I casted for some ideas earlier, and Rich threw out some Matt Damon gossip, so I did look it up.
Yeah, apparently Matt Damon was giving an interview, and they were talking about actors and sexuality. Oh. And I'm sorry, go ahead.
I think actually there's a story that precedes that so that the sex one was kind of piling on to a comment about diversity in film. Did you read that
I wasn't sure of the timeline because I know that he's got a show with his hetero life mate Ben Affleck on HBO called Project Greenlight.
Yep.
So
right, and that's where the controversy started.
First.
Right. So they were discussing on the show, which is like a kind of a contest show, which one of the director duos, I guess, would be appropriate for the material that they had, which one would do the best job with it. And one of the other judges had said, well, let's see.
Well, it was a black female producer who the article I read had a very much a slant to it. So I'll just give it from what I remember. It was a black female producer, and she was pushing for the directing duo of an Asian male and a female.
Right.
And Matt Damon made the comment of, we're not in the business of.
Yeah,
I can't remember the exact comment. Quote. If you got the quote, go ahead and read it.
I would just want to urge people to think about whoever this director is, the way that they are going to treat the character of Harmony with her being a prostitute. This is Brown's quote, but Matt Damon's quote is coming up next. How they're going to treat the character of Harmony with her being a prostitute, the only black person being a hooker who gets hit by her white pimp. So, I mean, I don't know. I haven't read the material. It sounds like a fair point. You have one black person in your whole production, and she's beaten and abused. But who knows? You're looking at this group here and who you're picking and the story that you're doing. I just want to make sure that we're doing our best. So yeah, her point was she thought that because there was an Asian woman in this duo, that her minority status in America would give her a point of view that would be important to the minority character in the movie. Now, it doesn't sound like this person's exactly a big part in this, unless I don't know. Again, I haven't read the material. Maybe she is the focus of it, but not from the way they're talking about it. It seems like
I don't believe she is either.
It seems to base your choice of director on one character seems like a weak premise. So let's see, where's Matt Damon's quote?
Well, just real quick, also, you got to remember that Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, this is the fourth quote-unquote season they filmed of this. I know it's been over like a 10-year span. I've watched a couple of them. These guys are executive producing with, and obviously they're not begging for change on the corner to eat, but their own money. And they've put, it's the fourth or fifth season, and they've put either four movies out so far, most which have gone directly into the shitter, never made any money, and what were not considered even successes with the critics. So I think they're trying. they're doing what most executive producers in Hollywood would do, which is we need to appeal to an audience and we need to hit a home run with this, not just, with.
Well, his comment on diversity is he said that it wasn't a concern when you're choosing your director, your producer, or whatever, the behind-the-scenes people. That he says when we're talking about diversity, you do it in the casting of the film, not the casting of the show, which it doesn't make a lot of sense, but I understand what he's getting at from the context around it too, is that, if let's talk about how you portray the people that are on screen, not what the intentions are of the people behind the scenes and what their background is. Mm-hmm. That's not so important.
Which makes sense to me coming from a gentleman who started out as an actor and eventually moved into writing, directing, producing.
And this leads right into the next thing that got him in trouble, because
really that quote got him in trouble?
Well, yeah, he was accused of white-splaining diversity.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Right?
Continue.
Being hey, listen, little lady, okay, now, this stuff doesn't fly in Hollywood. I know you can put black people on the screen, but, behind the scenes, that's a whole different matter. We white people here have this film business wrapped up, okay?
I think he was more, I don't know, it's the first time I'm hearing it, but to me the point comes across as we're not paying attention to the race of the people we're hiring behind the scenes. We're just hiring people behind the scenes.
Right. Let's see, interviewed later about it, he says, if you suddenly change the rules of this competition at the 11th hour, it just seems like you would undermine what the competition is supposed to be about, which is about giving somebody this job based entirely on merit and leaving all other factors out of it. It's just strictly a filmmaking competition.
Well, you can't bring in the word merit because the affirmative action crowd gets fucking all up in arms when you bring that into play.
Right. So then he goes on to, in an interview, that he was, I think the subject of a certain actor being out came up, right? Well, hold on one second, because it leads right into the next story where he started talking about how tough it was for him to just be associated with another male actor so closely that there were rampant rumors and jokes. I mean, we still make jokes about it, about him and Ben Affleck being gay. But to him, it was like he was mortified because he just had to answer the question. And he basically said that that no actor should have to answer that question, that sexuality shouldn't even come into it. What the true person is in there, all that does is obfuscate the what you see in the finished product.
Exactly. Yeah.
The actor's job is to portray these other people as accurately as possible for other people, for the audience, so he can tell the story. And it's a purest thought of, this is an actor and a filmmaker who understands his craft inside and out and is very pure in his thinking about it and doesn't let these weird biases that everybody else lets creep in that ruins shit.
Well, it was taken. This is how it was taken, because the quote was taken without context being given and broadcast over the internet. It was taken as he was saying, if you're a gay actor, you should not come out as gay, because it's going to make people. Right. It's going to make it harder for people to believe that you're playing a straight actor.
It was immediately,
which is ridiculous.
Yeah, it was warped into don't come out because it can only hurt your career.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right, so he's like this amazing forward-thinking producer and actor, and everybody wants to paint him like this 50s Mad Men style guy. Listen, honey, you don't know what the business is like, all right? Don't tell him you're gay. We need a beard for you.
Okay, and
we're back to people sitting around looking for shit to be offended about.
Well, yeah, I mean that's here to stay for the foreseeable future, as far as I believe. I don't think that's going anywhere.
And then he's forced to, in interest of his own career, he has been forced now by public opinion to go out and lie to everybody. I don't believe that his quote is, I thought it was a really insensitive thing to say. I don't believe that, Matt. I really don't believe that. I believe that you're speaking from your heart and that this is you covering your ass, and I don't blame you for it, and I would probably do the same thing if I was in your position, but I don't believe it for a second.
Well, on top of all this, you had an incident with...
doesn't he have enough money where you could just tell everyone to fuck off?
He doesn't want to be Charlie Sheen.
He's heading up a really big movie, and what is looking to be a really amazing movie that's based on an amazing book. And this is a Ridley Scott film, and he's got a lot of other people that can think about, too. He can't just fucking bomb his own production because he's got a bunch of fuck you money.
Not if he ever wants to work again.
Right.
And I mean,
He still
I'm not
has
even
stuff he
talking
wants to
about
do.
in the capacity of in front of a camera.
Right.
I'm talking about whatsoever in Hollywood. Well, this is what gets me. Okay, so the SJWs come out and they start carpet bombing them for these two comments. Okay, the first one we've discussed. The second one, here's the interesting part to me. Tom Hardy, who he played Mad Max, played Bane.
Yeah.
So just no one knows who I'm talking about.
Oh no, I know I know exactly what you're about to talk about.
Everybody's seen him in a
reporter
movie,
asked
whether
him.
they know it or not.
A reporter asked him in some half-assed, punk-ass way, in a roundabout way, of saying, so are you gay or not? But he didn't come out and say it. And Tom Hardy was like...
Oh, he said, there's been a lot of questions about your sexuality. And he's like, yeah. Are you asking about my sexuality? Well, I guess yeah, I am.
And they said,
Why?
Why? Yeah.
That's his quote. Why?
Yeah. And on top of
And he
it...
had no answer.
If you stop and think about it, he's played a gay character before. Mad Max, like one of the manliest, masculine, whatever, however you want to look at it, characters. And he's believable in all the roles.
Right.
It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter who.
He's had a Brooklyn accent. He's had an English accent. He's had an Australian accent.
He's like, I'm an actor. It shouldn't matter.
He's killed people in movies.
In rock and roll, he played a gay gangster.
Wow.
I mean, it's like, so
Right.
his point was, it shouldn't matter my personal sexuality.
Tom Hardy, is it true that your face was really mutilated under that Bane mask?
Yeah.
Are you a child?
So basically, in a roundabout way, he's kind of saying the same thing Matt Damon said, except for he directed it at a reporter who was trying to play the gotcha game with him, and he was like, "I'm not playing this game." But I mean, he basically said it doesn't matter what my fucking sexuality is. Now it does, and sexuality is a personal thing. If you want,
Unless
if
you're
you
trying
want
to
people
touch
know
it, it's none
then
of your
let them know it.
business.
If you don't,
Right.
it's none of their business.
Do you want some of this? Because then just come to me like a man. Don't beat around the
I gotta
bush.
be honest with you. I gotta be honest with you.
What's your interest in this question?
I gotta be honest with you. It seems like Tom Hardy has quite a gay following. So if the reporter was gay and Tom Hardy was like, "You want some of this?" The reporter might have been like, "Zip, yeah."
Anybody
That'd-
who's attracted to
that'd have been a hell
men.
of a story.
How could anybody who's attracted to men not love him? Those pillowy lips.
I don't know. Tell us more. I will say this: I was talking to a buddy of mine, and he's got a huge crush on Tom Hardy, and I was like, "Hey, have you seen a new Mad Max yet?" And he goes, "No." I said, "It becomes painfully obvious he has problems with thinning hair at some point," and he just went, "Oh, I know." And I'm like, "Oh, Jesus, man! I didn't tell you that he killed your dog. I just said, he's got thinning hair. I didn't realize it was such an issue for you."
Well, speaking of Matt Damon, it's insane that these are the news stories going around when, to me, there's two big stories, actually. This fantastic movie's coming out that this could be whatever. It could be the type of movie that scientists believe Interstellar was going to be, only it was too esoteric for the mainstream to actually inspire anybody to want to go out into space, especially if they thought their friends were all going to age 60 years when they came back.
Is the book actually called Martian?
The Martian.
The Martian.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, absolutely.
I heard an
Yeah.
interview from the guy who wrote it this morning. I guess
Right.
he's a engineer.
Yeah,
And it was
totally.
like all the math was all like,
Yep.
yeah, he's a software engineer.
Yeah, I've yet to read it. It's
Oh.
on my list, definitely. As soon as I finish the complete history of the Marvel Universe.
He just wrote a book. He was like, he's like, I just wanted to get my stuff out there. He's like, I didn't think it was going to be.
Mm-hmm. It was really a thought experiment to him, from what I've heard.
It was a crowdfunded thought
It
experiment.
was like, hey, could one guy pull this off? Right. And then he was like, well, this is kind of like, Castaway. And there you go. But
Is Matt Damon gonna fuck a volleyball?
But it shows it's possible. And now on top of this, maybe NASA's kind of leaking this news slowly in order to line up and take advantage of this. Because
They're hoping this gets
it's not
people-
conspiracy theory. There's definite connection to what gets made in Hollywood and what gets made at NASA. You inspire the people's imagination as to what's possible. They're willing to make that step with you. It becomes like less theoretical when you see it on the big screen.
Yeah, I don't think 2001 would have been made when it was made if it wasn't for the space race going on at the time.
Well,
it's like there was a lot of interest in it, and that's how Hollywood jumps on shit. So I mean,
no, but I'm saying the opposite is true as well.
That's what I was going. Well, that's it. Water flows both ways down that pipe, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, you continue this cycle of just I don't know. That's not the point that I wanted to make. Though I'm getting off track. There was water, evidence of water found on Mars, flowing water. Right. We knew there was frozen water, or at one time at least. There's the caps, the polar caps, and there's also some evidence that we've seen that kind of looks like water would have flown here, but they seem pretty definite now that there are at times what might actually come from the polar caps melting, water will run down on the surface of the planet that they once believed to be completely arid. So, I mean, that's fantastic news. And I'm not saying that wasn't reported, but it was much easier to find stories about Matt Damon, slip of the tongue, slap against gays and minorities.
Mars goes on wet, NASA's like, I'm coming over. So, yeah.
Right. Oh, and I got to play you a little bit of this Rush Limbaugh.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
He has something to say about this. Let me pop this up here. What the fuck is going on here? Sorry, give me a sec here. My iTunes is going crazy.
Yeah.
Some
Is
New
this like
Jack
a Sinbad
Swing.
comedy special?
I was going to say, that's Rush's bumper.
Yeah.
I heard that on, Sinbad 1990s comedy special.
When he was wearing the fucking
One night stand
suit.
Eons ago, ancient Mars had an extensive atmosphere, along with an ocean 2/3 the size of our northern hemisphere and a mile deep. How do they know that there was an ocean?
Science.
2/3 the size of the northern, and that it was a mile deep. Yeah, there used to be Mars 2/3 covered with water. And
Scientists
it was
don't talk like
a mile deep. How did they know that?
Science.
We
Yes,
haven't
they
been
do.
there.
Russia
We haven't probed a mile down. After an unknown catastrophe, Mars suffered a major climate change and lost its surface water. An unknown.
We also haven't probed heaven for evidence of God, but yet you believe
I was
that.
going to say, I was just waiting to say that.
Catastrophe.
But
Unknown. How do we know that? Yes, sirree, Bob, that's what it was, folks. After an unknown catastrophe, Mars suffered a major climate change and lost its surface water. If we're going to admit that it was an unknown catastrophe, how in the name of Sam Hill do we know what it was? And that it was brought on by climate change. There's climate change every freaking place in the universe. It's climate change. Unknown catastrophe. There's climate change on Jupiter. I don't know. It just irritates the heck out of me. Unknown catastrophe. We know that an unknown catastrophe, some years ago, brought on by climate change, destroyed all the water on Mars. How can something be catastrophic when there aren't any people around to feel the catastrophe? The Mars guys, the scientists said a catastrophic event related to climate change. It's a politically charged term. Climate, catastrophe, Mars.
You're making it
How
political.
does anybody know that? How can anybody possibly know? But this is absurd. Catastrophic event when nobody lives on Mars? Until they're going to tell us they did. Yep, and global climate change destroyed them. Don't rule it out, folks. We're dealing here with desperate leftists who will do anything to advance their agenda here on Earth.
Okay, hold on. No, hold up. Okay, how many Gospels are in the Bible?
4.
How many Gospels? 4. Okay, how many were left out of the Bible? I'm playing devil's advocate and saying that when they say there's other Gospels that were edited out over the years. I mean, let's ballpark it. Maybe a dozen. Is that too high, too low?
I don't know.
Okay, so let's go with the 4 they have. So 4 Gospels were written saying that by people who never met Jesus but are saying his story. Okay, and he's going, well, that's that. I'm sure Rush Limbaugh will be like that. Yes, I believe in Jesus and Christ and all this good shit. But he's saying scientists don't know.
Right. Let's just start with how many people.
Based on that line of logic, Rush, how many books have been written about Martians on Mars? You don't, apparently, to write a gospel, you don't have to meet the man to have witnessed the things with your own eyes. So Maybe these science fiction writers heard it secondhand from somebody. So his line of logic right there falls the fuck apart. And I mean, we all know what Rush Limbaugh's agenda is. It's not even fucking got a thin veil over top of it.
Right. Well,
He wants to turn it into climate change arguments. There's climate change all over the fucking universe because the universe is bigger than your fat ass can fucking comprehend.
Yeah, he thinks, these liberals have such a climate change hard-on that they are trying to feed us a story that it happened on Mars. And what they're talking about is what they believe at one time, probably long, long ago when the sun was a little bit smaller and Mars was a little bit cooler. And Mars was more in what they call the Goldilocks zone and not Earth, where it's just far away from the sun, just enough to create an atmosphere and shield itself from the radiation and enjoy the warmth. We are in the Goldilocks zone. At one time in the past, Mars was in the Goldilocks zone. And they believe what happened is that a large planetoid or asteroid of some sort smashed into the surface, as it did on Earth and many places all over in the primitive solar system. And that created an event that heated up the atmosphere, evaporated all the water. This is the new theory of what possibly happened to the dinosaurs. This is
just say, so using Russia's logic, are dinosaurs not dead?
Well, let's not even go there because, is he one of the 5,000-year-old club?
No, I don't think he's that insane.
He's not that deep. Okay. So maybe he believes in dinosaurs. I don't know. But yeah, and this idea that, you can't, if you don't even know what caused it, then how can you say that it happened? Well, a detective finds a dead body and no murder weapon. Does that mean the person didn't die?
Yeah, they're alive and breathing. We don't know.
No,
he's a fucking moron.
If a deaf dumbass says
bleeding out
something
there
to a
is
fucking
alive.
radio mic, are people going to believe him?
That guy there is bleeding out of his head is alive until I find the gun that shot him. You can't prove otherwise. And he believes in God.
I mean, okay,
he's turning into a fucking cartoon character the older he gets. I mean, he already pretty much has been one, but...
Do you guys even think he believes any of this shit, or do you just think he's just saying this shit to cash checks?
He just needs material.
I think at the beginning he was saying it to cash checks, but you could go with the theory of you say things so many times you start to believe them.
He does... Possibly, yeah. He's probably believing his own bullshit, but he doesn't have any material either. They're telling us that climate change is happening on Mars. They're like, climate change is happening on Mars.
Like, how can you be alive in like the last, I don't know, all of our lives and not think climate change is happening? I mean, just look at the last 5 years.
You know what's funny is that the old people in my family talk about how different the weather was when they were growing up than now. But the minute you say climate change, they tell you you're full of shit. And I'm like, okay, well, even by your own personal experience, you say, okay, and I get it. They could be misremembering things, whatever. But they're like, I don't remember the seasons being as far off, or as the season starting as late as it does. It used to, do this. It used to do that. Well, if you remember that and we put a name to it, but it just happens to be a name you don't like, then all of a sudden it's dismissed. You're entitled to your opinion. You're not entitled to deny facts. That's all there is to it.
I mean, my one argument for climate change is New England's winter last year, and then I would drop the microphone. I mean, they had record snowfall. That the region that is used to getting destroyed at winter got destroyed the worst it's ever gotten destroyed. They were pushing snow into Boston Harbor because they were running out of room of places to plow snow.
2 years ago, we had 60-some inches in the month of January?
Yeah, the same winter, too. Record cold. Like overall. Coldest February, coldest January's on record.
Yeah. Well,
but yeah.
Meanwhile, how much
happening to the planet?
How much is gas in New York?
Well, actually, it's New Jersey. I've seen gas for $1.89.
$1.89.
Must be nice.
That is just fucking ridiculous. I mean, at least if we're going to use fossil fuels, we should at least be aware of what we're doing. And when you subsidize it to make it that cheap, to make it less than a gallon of milk, there's no responsible use of it. It's a free for all.
Yeah, but I bet you by Saturday gas is going to be $3. I bet you it'll double because of that hurricane supposedly heading for the East Coast.
Yes, there must be gouging.
Oh, I guarantee it.
It's a
I bet
disaster.
I'm gonna monitor gas prices Saturday morning. I'm gonna have to get gas Saturday morning when I turn in the rental car. I bet you shit's gonna be near $3.
Oh, I bet you wish you fucking purchased the prepaid gas tank.
Nah, it's fucking dude. Somebody else pays for that. I don't do that shit.
I know.
Well, have you guys been following what happened today? Actually, as the recording of this show on Wednesday, that the Russians bombed Syria. Did you hear about that?
Oh, that's gonna end well.
The French did too.
Well, this is the first time that post Cold War Russia has actually had a military strike. All of a sudden, Putin got kind of interested in terrorism and was like, "Oh, we have to do something about this."
Well, he wants his sanctions taken away.
So they kind of out of nowhere bombed certain places in Syria that they said were holdouts of IS, or I guess we're calling them ISIL.
ISIL.
Yeah. They bombed what they said was, ISIS factions. Only from the map that the Americans are looking at, it seems to be more
Assad regime.
Anti-Assad regime.
Oh yeah.
The rebels, and it seems that I don't know. Seems that Putin and Assad are pretty tight, and when you're a dictator, you kind of have sympathy for your own kind, I imagine.
Oh yeah, Russian airstrikes against Assad enemies. That's on BBC News.
That's how the BBC's reporting it too, huh?
That's how they're reporting it. Yeah.
Yeah, Putin says if they, the militants, succeed in Syria, they will return to their home country and they will come to Russia too.
Wait, read that
So,
again.
think we'll be in Syria by the end of the year?
Dude, we cannot start a war with Russia right now unless we recede from everywhere else. Seriously.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, we wouldn't necessarily get into it with Russia just by entering this conflict,
we'll have proxy
because
wars.
they are, saying at least that they are on our side, that they're actually fighting terrorists.
Well, proxy wars, just like Vietnam was. It's just fucking.
All right, more dead soldiers. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening, liking, and sharing Unregimented on Facebook and following Unregimented on Twitter at UnregimentedPod. If you like Unregimented, please tell a friend to visit ChristopherMedia.net. You can subscribe to Unregimented on iTunes for free just by clicking through the iTunes banner at ChristopherMedia.net. You can also show your support for Unregimented when you buy something on iTunes just by clicking through the iTunes banner at ChristopherMedia.net. It won't cost you anything extra, and it shows your support for Unregimented. While you're on iTunes, please remember to write a review and rate Unregimented 5 stars. Just click on the iTunes banner at ChristopherMedia.net. Android users can listen to Unregimented for free at ChristopherMedia.net by clicking on the Stitcher radio player on our homepage. You can also listen to Unregimented for free at TuneIn.com or by downloading their free TuneIn radio app. Don't forget, you can always listen to Unregimented for free across any platform just by going to ChristopherMedia.net. Make sure to check out all of the podcasts on ChristopherMedia.net. Mondays and Fridays, you have Unregimented. Reach us at UnregimentedPod on Twitter. Tuesdays and Fridays, you have the Weedsman Podcast. Find those guys at the Weedsman420 on Twitter. Wednesday, you have the Projection Booth, projection-booth.com, or at Pro Boothcast on Twitter. Saturday, you have the Captain's Table at Captain's Podcast on Twitter. You can also check out one of our new shows, well, new to us. It's the Ugly Club Podcast. It's another movie podcast, but these guys go with more of a theme each week rather than just one movie. You could check them out at Ugly Club Podcast on Twitter or uglyclubpodcast.com. If you like Unregimented and want to show your support for Unregimented, you can donate to Christopher Media by clicking through the PayPal button at ChristopherMedia.net. If you use Amazon.com, please click through the Amazon banner at ChristopherMedia.net and bookmark the link. It won't cost you anything extra, and when you buy something, you will show your support for Unregimented. If you're looking to launch your own website, please click through the HostGator banner at ChristopherMedia.net. That's who we use to host Unregimented. When you sign up for HostGator by clicking through the banner at ChristopherMedia.net, you are helping to support Unregimented.
I watched I forgot where it was. Yeah, I watched a video of a guy. I think he was in like Arizona or some shit. He shot a 36-inch plate from over 2 miles away with a sniper rifle.
So when's Eastwood making a movie about him?
He's got to write a book first.
No, there was actually I can't remember where the goddamn. Yeah, that's what I was prompting at. There was a soldier who made an almost 2 mile sniper kill in Afghanistan. Can't remember what country he's from.
Yeah, I hear shit like that, and I just think, okay, those are guys that are once every probably couple hundred years, the people that have the skills to do that shit. That's more than just, okay, I practiced a lot. That's hitting a genetic lottery, being able to and just having natural raw ability coupled with training.
Yeah, it's It took that guy, the one that made the almost 2 million or 2 mile kill. It took him 9 shots to line it up.
Well, that's not a very good. That's like a 10% success rate.
Dude, that's a long ass shot.
Well, how the hell can you aim from 2 miles? I mean, you got a scope that can see that. I mean, obviously.
The one guy had a 56x scope, and it was
He's
but you have
spotting
multiple,
hawk, right?
Well, there's 2 spotters. There was 2 spotters for that guy.
Some hawks out.
But no, you got to have
Like
you
the
got to pay
Falcon?
attention to multiple wind directions.
Mm-hmm.
Probably you got to take into account the curvature of the Earth at that point.
How the
How
bullet's
about
going to
somebody
fall.
not
It took
walking in
almost-
front of the bullets within their 2 miles?
It took 6 seconds for the bullet to reach its target.
Wow.
It's an eternity in in firearms.
Yeah, that's forever.
There's a lot of variables that can happen in those 6 seconds that could fuck that shot up.
Bird could
So
have flew into one of them.
That's comforting to know.
Yeah.
Oh, that scares you? Come on. They're just going to have lasers on satellites that can fry you before you even know what's going on.
Yep.
Well, I'm just
Lock onto
like,
your
how long
phone.
do the police have that technology? Is my question.
yeah, but you have to have a policeman that can make that shot.
They don't.
The technology helps, but
I'll give
it's
you that
not-
one.
Not technology all on its own.
Yeah. Well, they got those.
Yeah. A gun like that doesn't take to like firing wildly like
No.
some police like to do.
There's
They like to
actually-
more flail around and kind of shoot around.
There's actually a bullet in development right now that a sniper can, as long as he maintains a laser lock on his target, the fucking bullet will curve to it. It will actually go to the laser.
This is some shit from that movie Wanted, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, like, if there's a truck moving, the sniper just has to, like,
They're
keep
throwing
his,
bullets around the corner.
Yeah, bending
They
bullets.
lock on a
What
fucking.
movie was that?
Yeah, it was
Wanted.
Wanted, yeah. That was silly shit.
Yeah, it was still an entertaining movie.
It
though.
was.
Wasn't that Matthew Vaughn?
Angelina Jolie.
Did Matthew Vaughn do that one?
The star of the movie?
No. The director that did the X-Men movies.
No, it's some Russian guy. I can't remember his name.
really?
I literally was just reading about it 4 days
it's
ago.
based on a Mark Miller comic book.
Yeah.
They're talking about doing a sequel to that.
Well,
That's a comic that I would really like to sit down and get the trade paperback and read, because it seems like it'd be something.
You know,
too.
There's been a lot of Mark Miller stuff that I found really entertaining. Well, definitely Kick-Ass is a big one that
It's fun. That's a fun movie to watch.
The movie is fun. The comic books are done by John Romita Jr., who's just like a legend in comic books, and it was one of my favorites. And when he's on, but he has a certain kind of, I don't know, he's definitely got a style. Lately his stuff seems to be more like, hey, wouldn't this make a great movie, huh? Which is all well and good. It doesn't always make for the best comics.
Who did Green Hornet?
Who did that? Was what's his name directed it? Wait, who created the
No,
character?
No. The newest movie.
The
was
last
Seth
movie.
Rogen.
Yeah, it was Seth Rogen.
Oh, he actually directed that movie.
I believe he directed it, didn't he?
That was a good movie.
It was very enjoyable.
Yeah,
I think he got the tone right.
I think so too. There's enough sarcasm.
Is it meta enough without being too much?
Yeah.
Too much self-reference.
Well, speaking of comic book movies, I guess Hugh Jackman confirmed that the last standalone Wolverine movie he'll be starring in is going to be based, of course, how loosely, who knows, off of a Wolverine story that you've talked about a few times in the podcast, the Old Man Logan story.
That's right. That's what I don't think that they've actually got a script going for it yet, but that's what they're pushing for. That's another Mark Miller story.
Yeah. That's how I ended up getting into the Mark Miller stuff and the Wanted stuff, because I started looking up stuff on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Old Man Logan is far future version of Wolverine that lives in a world that's like a post-apocalyptic world that's ruled by Hulks, lots of Hulks.
Well, different areas, I guess, are ruled by different villains. Basically, the premise is the villains killed all the superheroes that they could,
right,
and drove the rest of them into hiding.
Yeah, so you've got like your Goblin area, you've got your Hulk area, you've got...
Of course, Doom's got an area.
Doom's got an area.
Yeah, I thought the premise of it when I read it was interesting, and I just read like like a summary of it, and I was like, that could work. I mean, it'd be fucked up to see Wolverine killing all the X-Men, but
right. Yeah, I couldn't remember if that was if that's what happened in that one. If they all died because he couldn't save them, or if he was forced to kill them.
One of the one of the villains got into his head and made him think that the X-Mansion was being attacked by somebody's henchman. He was killing all the X-Men.
I think I was getting it confused with Age of Apocalypse. I was flipping the two.
Yeah, and that's when he was like, I'm not popping my claws. I'm done with this superhero shit. And he went to go live in the middle of nowhere in the areas that the Hulks had taken over.
Yeah, he just, his healing factor won't allow him to die. He's aged some. His hair's calmed down a little. You know, that or he just keeps it really crop tight. And he's just like, leave me the fuck alone. And it's, you know, it's a fucking Mad Max story. Not that George Miller made the story the first either, but it's one that he's known for going back to in Mad Max, especially the last one, Fury Road, which is, you know, just burnt out fuck that doesn't want to be bothered by anyone and constantly finds that people need him. And that's what freaks him out more than anything, is that people might actually need him because he's failed everybody else in his life. That's the character that's Old Man Logan.
Which, if you lived long enough to see pretty much everyone you love die, and then on top of it killed most of them. Yeah, you kind of, I imagine you kind of feel that way.
Right, and that's the Wolverine that's coming back to the Marvel Universe after all the Secret Wars stuff is done, which who knows when that's even going to be. It's extended even more. Like, they delayed shipment of a couple volumes of the book, and then actually added another book onto what was not once an 8-book series, now is a 9-book. So who knows? But yeah, Old Man Logan is going to be the Wolverine, at least for the time being. Actually, I shouldn't say that. X-23, his clone, is going to be a female Wolverine, and he's just going to be Old Man Logan.
Well, I don't know if you heard this, but kind of a throwback to earlier in the episode. Hugh Jackman's campaigning very hard for
Mr. Pillowy Lips.
Yep, for Tom Hardy to play Wolverine when he's done with him.
Yeah, I say fuck that. Put Sabretooth in your next movie and have him play that. I want to see you and him going at it. Oh, that sounds really bad now. Hey, you two, why don't you oil up and get in there, dress up like superheroes and punch each other a little bit.
Somewhere my buddy Corey just fucking got
slow
a tip
down.
He's like, wait a minute, something wonderful just happened. Something was spoken to existence. Rule 34, run with it.
All right.
Oh, shit.
Well, we brought it full circle, which involved also digging ourselves into a ditch. So, good point to wrap this one up on, don't you think, gentlemen?
Sure enough.
Yeah. Hey, Rich, by the way, our super fan brought it up on the face page today. Today's the 30th. Congrats, sir. Today would be your 90 days, wouldn't it?
Oh, shit. I didn't realize that made it to air. Yeah.
Oh, it's also National Podcast Day.
And
Yesterday was National Beer Day.
This is ridiculous.
There's too many fucking days, man.
Why would they have fucking National Beer Day before National Podcast Day?
But you do realize that when they put a day on the calendar, it doesn't actually add a day to the year. They don't have to wedge it in between. Like, it just lays over one of the existing days.
And haven't we already passed National Talk Like a Pirate Day?
Yeah. Yes, I actually had someone doing that at work for a second, and I was like, just please stop.
No.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't mind it. I was actually thinking earlier today that I was going to switch my language on Facebook back to pirate just for the hell of it.
I forgot about that. You can do that, yeah.
It's very entertaining.
Rich, I'm just reminded of that scene from Dodgeball with Vince Vaughn. You are not a pirate. Him and Eric Stoltz.
Hey, Rich, let me ask you the question real quick before we go. I asked this on the Weedsman, but I'll make it short this time.
Okay.
Because I can get this into one sentence now. Okay, you know about the version that we almost got of Back to the Future starring Eric Stoltz, right?
Yeah, there's actually some of it filmed.
Yeah, there was actual dailies filmed of before he was yanked and they decided to go with Michael J. Fox. So I imagine that's got to kind of eat at him. I'm not saying he's a miserable guy, but there's got to be that what if of, like, what if I actually got that role?
I could have been Marty.
Role? And what would his career, because he's always been like the, you know, just kind of, he's I don't want to say he's like a B-movie actor, but
he's a character actor.
When he gets into good roles, it's always just as a character actor too, right? He's never been in a strong lead in anything. I was watching Anaconda is what brought this up in the first place.
Oh, I forgot he was in that piece of shit.
So if he could go back in time and make it so that he would remain the star of, or he had to get the monkey's paw to wish it to happen. That's what it was. It wasn't the time machine. It was the monkey's paw. Because he'd get a monkey's paw and he'd say, I wish that Michael J. Fox never got the part of Marty McFly and that I kept that part. And the catch would be that he would get that part and he would have all the rewards of, that came with that, being in that what was that movie?
Doc Hollywood.
Doc Hollywood, yeah. He gets to be in Doc Hollywood and all that shit. But he has to get, is he Parkinson's?
Yes.
Yeah. So he has to get the Parkinson's too. It's a package deal. You make the call. Should Eric Stoltz do it? No. Do you think he would take that?
Man, I think his character in Pulp Fiction was probably really close to him in real life. So I think he'd just be like,
this is
man,
what you call
it. As long as I got enough for my weed and shit, I'm good.
Well, that's what I was going to posit to you there, Aaron, is does Michael J. Fox now get to be the drug dealer in Pulp Fiction?
Yeah.
And the creepy professor in Rules of Attraction. Mm-hmm. That would have been interesting to watch.
Yeah, he gets to be the guy that was on the sitcom that never got to break into movies and it always shows up as like a B actor.
Well, here's the thing. They both got to fuck, was there Lee Thompson, the mother and from Back to the Future?
Yeah.
When she was young and hot.
What?
Wasn't she Caroline in the City too? She looked good then too. Shit, you know what? Thumbs up, both of them.
Looks good now.
They both did.
Yeah. Oh, come on, dude. He did that movie, Some Kind of Wonderful with her.
Like a spit roast.
Chinese thumb cups.
Not at the same time.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, there might be some people on this podcast that have no problem with that, but they might.
I have no problem with what anybody does in their bedroom.
No, I'm talking about
referring to
roasting. Yes,
Jay's 3-dick theory.
Finger cuffs here. Yeah.
Don't bring me into your fucking homo fucking hating ass.
It just sounds so annoying. Like, man, fuck you. Don't even suck me into this shit. Just leave me out of it.
You could have chosen a better word there, Rich.
All right. Hey, see you guys
now.
Next
That's
time.
A good point to end the podcast.
Kiss my ass, Rich.
All right. Well, on that note, I guess we'll wrap everything up. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at UnregimentedPod, like the Facebook page. We're on Instagram. We have one photo up because I'm still figuring out how that shit works because I'm old. But just on Instagram, it's unregimented. Tell your friends, share it with people, do what you got to do. I don't know, a lot of things to say. So on that note, I would say we'll catch you guys on Monday.
Bye.
Later.
If you enjoy this show and want more people to know about it, head on over to iTunes, leave a comment, and rate it 5 stars. Make sure you like and share us on Facebook, and don't forget to follow us on Twitter. Just search for Christopher Media. Thank you in advance for supporting Christopher Media by clicking on the PayPal button and by clicking through to all the sponsors who support ChristopherMedia.net. Most importantly, we would like to take the time to extend an extra special thanks to you. Christopher Media could not exist without your support. Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net, and thank you for listening. Christopher Media. Let's make some noise. Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
You might not think that a few simple words could make you crave McDonald's breakfast sandwiches. But if you listen closely to the sound of me saying McGriddles,